We've got a stacked card on Sunday. UFC Freedom 250 is finally approaching. We're finally here after a good few months of learning what the matchups are going to be. One of the most stacked cards of the year, if not the most stacked card of the year so far entering June. We're finally going to get witness it. We're going to see Alex Pereira debut a heavyweight, Ilitz Poirier back in action after a year, and it's just top to bottom a really juicy card. So let's just get right into it, starting from the very first opening fight, and that is Diego Lopez against Steve Garcia. Now, Lopez, Mr. Undeserving for a title shot against Alexander Volkanovski, especially the way he looked in both of those matchups. I'm not sure why he even deserved that second one, but I digress. This is going to be a banger of an opener. I mean, anytime you get Diego Lopez on a card, right, it's going to be, there's going to be some fireworks. It's not going to be boring. And Garcia's been on a tirade too. He's been winning consecutive matchups after matchups where could be a statement win for him if he gets one over Lopez. I mean, Lopez was obviously just a title contender twice in the last year or so. And if you beat this guy, all of a sudden you catapult yourself as like a top 3, top 5, no lower than a top 5 fighter. He's at least one more win away to getting a title fight against Volk or whoever may be the champion at featherweight by then. So this would be a hell of a fight for Steve Garcia to win. As for Lopez, this kind of just keeps you on, staying in the title picture, which is going to be tough because he's alluded to in an interview before with Ariel Helwani that like, he kind of doesn't mind if Volkanovski retires, which makes sense. The guy's beaten you twice. You're not going to get a title fight anytime soon so long as Volk is the champ. I think Volk needs to face at least 2 to 3 more people before you ever get a Lopez round 3 for the title shot. So this one, hell of a way to start the fight. I think I give the slight edge to Lopez. I know Garcia, he's got that chip on his shoulder. He's riding a hot wave. It would not shock me if he won either. But I'm going a little conservative here. I like the Lopez pick on this for this fight at least, and for him to keep not his title hopes alive, but to essentially keep him in the title picture. Because if you're not winning, then you're going to be forgotten. And right now he needs to stack some wins. Like he needs like at least 3 wins in a row to ever be considered for a title shot, even if it is Volk. So it starts here, especially in a banger win. If he gets a finish, would be crazy if any of these guys finished each other. I doubt Garcia gets the finish on Lopez. If anything, it would be Lopez getting the finish. So I don't see how any way this is not a fight that's going to be entertaining. But I like Lopez on this fight. If I asked one of my best friends about this fight, our boy Bo Nickel, who, my goodness, is this guy boring? I'm sorry, like this is easily. I know I said in the beginning this is a stacked card. This is the worst fight on the card. Like no one wants to watch Bo Nickel. Like he's only there because he gloats Trump, whatever, all this stuff. But it was you were always gonna have some Americans on here, which is kind of crazy. That's barely half the card is filled with them. But this is the main one you got here. You got Kyle Dawkins against Bo Nickel. If you're Nickel, you need a win here. There is no if, ands, whats, or buts. You have to get a win here over Dawkins. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it's boring, which probably will be the case if he gets, that's how he gets a lot of his wins if he's not going against pumpkins, right? He just really has to knock this boring snooze fest. This is why people boo him at the stadiums, because you have him, like, it started really at UFC 300 when he was on the main card. Like, why were you on the main card? Because you're best friends with like the UFC brass and stuff like that. Like no one wants to see this guy. So start getting some finishes. Even it could be all 3 rounds. If it's entertaining, they will come. All right. It's like that movie says, hey, if you build it, they will come. And guess what? If you build a good fight, not build a good fight. If you put on a good fight, you get bloodied up a little bit, you blood him up a little, whatever. Then I think us as fans are gonna respect the hell out of you, and we're gonna be like, all right, that was fun. Let's see if he can do it again. So it was a huge pressure on Bo Nickel. And Kyle Dawkins, he's someone that's just happy to be there, I think. And if he gets the win, my God, then that's like, wow, you did this on like an historic card, and you beat Bo Nickel, who was supposed to be this touted prospect. Then all of a sudden we start looking you in a different light. So a lot on the line for both of these fighters, but for Nickel, a loss here would be very detrimental. So, but I'm least looking forward to this fight. Still some excitement because it's it's a fight. Fight's gonna be a fight. But this one, I mean, can anyone say they're really overly excited about it. I personally cannot. The next one that is probably going to be over in the first round. I'd be shocked if this Mauricio Hufi and Michael Chandler goes past the first round. Hufi is a sniper, man. I think anyone who's watched even just one or two of his fights knows this guy does not play. And anyone who's watched one or two of Michael Chandler's fights know that this guy's liable to get slept or finished, whether it's on the ground, on the feet. Like, it's funny because I seen a tweet where why does Michael Chandler spend more time looking like a CrossFit trainer or goer than he does an actual fighter? And you know what? As funny as it is, it feels like it's lukewarm true, if not all the way true, because the guy's physique is amazing, but he never translates that into great cardio or amazing technique out there in the octagon. And he's just this is going to be a technique nightmare for him. Hufi's not going to go in guns blazing. I think he's going to take his time. And then by the second or third minute mark, by the time he starts realizing, okay, I see what I got here in Chandler, he's going to get that finish like with a minute left in the first round. Unless Hufi really wants to take his time and just be like, all right, I really want to wait for the kill. Then he gets the second round finish. But I'd be stunned if this does not get finished within the first two rounds. If it doesn't get a finish at all. So I give 0% chance Chandler's winning at all, which kind of sucks for him because you go waiting 3 years for Conor McGregor. He's going to fight Max Holloway in a month. And while they did you a favor, put you on the White House card, your your consolation prize, you're most likely getting slept, brother. It's over for you. So, but I will say this for him. Every fight he's in is always an entertaining one. It's not boring, even if he is the one that's getting beat up. So there's not really too much to dive into here. But yeah, Hufi round one finish. And if not, he's going to win. 0% chance for Chandler. I don't know how anyone could put any money or just confidently just even a gentleman's bet say Chandler's winning at all. Next one is probably turning into a fan favorite in Josh Hokett, as cringe and corny as this guy is. My God, he's annoying. Like, if he just was normal and even had some flair corniness, he'd be a lot more tolerable. But he puts on this act like it's just forced. It's not natural. It's forced, and it's annoying. It reminds me of Henry Cejudo, who is the cringe lord. But aside from that, this guy can fight. I mean, God, that Curtis Blades fight was probably going to be the fight of the year. And it's kind of similar to Hufi against Chandler. I don't see how Lewis is going to win this fight. Obviously, he's got the sledgehammer hands that you can just give him 2 seconds, and he's going to throw that in, and he's going to put your lights out. But Hokett, man, Hokett has the youth, the health, the energy, the speed that Lewis does not. And after seeing Lewis's last fight against Talisman Teixeira like 5 months ago, he basically threw the towel in himself. He's like, I'm out, dude. Just get me out of this fight. He's cooked. He's done. I don't know if it's his knees or he's just getting old. I mean, it makes sense, right? You're up there in age. Like, of course, you're going to have a lot of physical deficiencies. And you're going against this guy, Hokett, up-and-comer, who's young. How are you going to win this fight? It's just really, it's that 1 to 5% chance that Lewis is going to have in that first round, because we know, anyone who's watched a few Derek Lewis fights knows that he's going to gas out after the first half of the first round, and he's definitely going to be done once you get to the second round and third, if it gets that far. So if you're a Hokett, I could see him incorporating a little more wrestling just to slow him down, and then he just tees off on Lewis, and then Lewis says, I'm done. My cardio can't take it. I'm not going to take this beating for no reason. So Lewis doesn't have no chance. He's got a better chance than Chandler does against Hufi. But if I were to go percentage-wise, I say it's going 90% Hokett to win, 10% Lewis. This is probably Hokett's time. As cringe lord as he is, this is going to be huge for him if he gets this, because guess what? Now you get a win here, you're going to be lined up perfectly for probably a title contention fight with either Alex Pereira or another prominent heavyweight fighter. Although at heavyweight, there's not really much prominence going on. This is probably your best chance. So I see Hokett taking this one without too much of a struggle. Sean O'Malley against Amin Zahabi. Man, O'Malley, talk about a fall from grace for this guy. It's just, he beat Song Yadong. Good fight, not great fight. Wasn't too electric. When's the last time, Sean? It's been years since we've seen an O'Malley finish. Like, the guy really built up his name by beating up pumpkins, which obviously that's a lot of great fighters in their time, and he came across Marab, but this has to be the fight where, look, you kind of asked to be on the White House card. Let's see if you can do this against Zahabi, because it's not like Zahabi is like Mr. Tough Guy. He's obviously not like soft chinned or just soft in general. Like, it's not going to be easy to get this guy to hit the canvas, to hit the ground with the 1-2 combo of yours, or that sniper punch that Mally can do vintage. But if you get a win here, that's going to be so much for your bantamweight title hopes. For both of these guys, Zahabi's working up his way up the chain. He gets this win. All of a sudden, he's looking top 3. And O'Malley gets this win. Then guess what? You're lined up perfectly to be the winner, to face the winner of Petr Yan and Merab Dvalishvili. Like, that would be great, especially if Petr wins that rematch. We get the rematch O'Malley and Petr, which I would love. Kind of rooting for that, even though Merab's a monster himself. But this fight has a chance of being very entertaining and also a little boring at the same time. You know, Zahabi doesn't have great flair. He has some nice technique to him. Obviously, O'Malley does too. There's going to be a lot of stand-up here. I don't imagine Zahabi's going to do much wrestling. This one, I think it obviously behooves both to just make it make it a grand spectacle as much as possible. Again, all eyes on you, kind of similar to how you want Bo Nickel and Dawkins to kind of like look at each other and just be like, hey, let's make a name because no one's expecting us. These ones, obviously, the favorites is O'Malley, but Zahabi can do this. Man, it's just more at stake for Zahabi, honestly, than it is O'Malley, because O'Malley can always, if he loses this, he can just win again, and then he'll probably be a title contender against anyone. You know, maybe we get the Corey Sandhagen fight finally, but Zahabi gets this win, that's going to be huge. Now all of a sudden he's looking at being the runner-up for the rematch between Petr Yan, the trilogy between Petr Yan and Merab. So a lot on the stake here. This one's probably the toughest one so far to predict. We're going up from start to finish on the card. Man, I think we're gonna get a bit of vintage O'Malley performance, but I'm not the most confident in it. Kind of the same as Diego Lopez and Steve Garcia. I got the 60-40 in favor of O'Malley. Maybe Zahabi's got that winning streak, luck, momentum, and I'm a big momentum guy in sports. It would not surprise me if he won, but I think he's probably the most locked in, knowing he needs a win, and it's the White House card because he's been raving about it. So I like him getting a win. Probably not a finish. We'll probably go the distance, and he'll probably have flashes where it looks like Zahabi's gonna be put out, get his lights turned off. But I think this is the one where it's gonna be a fairly entertaining fight. Maybe boring stretches, but it's like we'll look back and be like, that was a good fight. O'Malley's worked himself into a good win. Alex Poatan Pereira at heavyweight against Cyril Gane. This one, my goodness. This one, very excited for, because anytime you have someone getting a chance at becoming a 3-time champion, 3 weight in the division, that's insane, man. Like, this guy, how the hell did Alex get all the way down to middleweight? I mean, you have to realize you really hated someone in Israel Adesanya. I'm rocking the shirt right now, to actually go all the way down to a weight you're very uncomfortable with. And then you beat him. Hell of a win by him. And those two had some great battles in the UFC. Those 2 matches, those 2 fights, incredible. But then he goes to dominate lightweight. Now he's coming up to heavyweight. Like, it's almost like you want to see this, because he's given the UFC, he's given the fans, he's given all of us to watch. Like, no fight's been boring of his. Like, probably his most boring fight was against Jan Blachowicz, and the title fight against Magomed Ankalaev, which he was hurt in. I believe he had a fractured hand, and he wasn't pulling the trigger on his shots, which, no duh, you have a fractured hand. But this one, man, like, would be an insane win. I know Cyril Gane is not like some barn burner of a fighter, like all time in list as heavyweight, but he's good. You know, he's not no scrub. I mean, he was teeing off on Tom Aspinall in the first round before he decided to treat Tom Aspinall's head like a bowling ball. I mean, my God. So that would probably be one of the concerns for Pereira, because obviously Gane has a history of gouging people's eyes out. This dude's like some cynical madman who just likes doing that to opponents. So that would be something to watch out for sure. And then obviously Gane has a capability of hugging, maybe wrestling, but I think he might translate a lot of his game plan from Aspinall into this one, because it's pretty much the same. He knows he's not going to have to worry about any ground game from Pereira, especially because he's going to be heavier. He's probably slower, so Gane might have the advantage on that speed. There's a lot of experience and familiarity for Gane where he honestly probably shouldn't lose, you know, in a way, because as much as Pereira wears that weight normally, Gane is just massively just more imposing. Obviously, he's way more in shape, and it's his territory. So, look, if Alex loses, it's no big deal. He's going for greatness. This should probably be a win for Gon, to be honest. As much as I'm personally rooting for Pereira, I feel like I give the slight lean to Gon to win this fight because of that familiarity. Obviously, in a sense where Pereira is like Lewis, where you're never going to count him out. That guy's a sniper. All it takes is one. All it takes is 1-2. But this is one where you could coin flip it. If you want to bet on Pereira, you want to say like, hey, I'm just going to gentleman's bet this Pereira. I would not blame you. And if you did the same with Gon, you're definitely justified too. But man, it's tough. I'm more excited than actually picking one to pick a winner. It's really one of the things I just can't wait to see when we see what we've seen on paper actually get applied out there. So, man, my head says Gon, but my heart says Pereira. So, being crazy that I am, I think I gotta go with Pereira. It's gonna be the one I'm rooting for. But if he loses, hat tip to him for trying. And then obviously, hell of a job by Gon. Sets up that rematch with Tom Aspinall if he ever gets ready from his gouged out eyes, which he's probably going to be living in fear of Gon now after that instance. Turn of Ilia Topuria after a year when he slept the world's fan favorite in the UFC for the most part. I don't know anyone that doesn't dislike Charles Oliveira because that knockout was insane. I was not surprised by that. And I think he's got an even better chance of doing this to Gaethje, And then I've had some debates with people where it's like, hey, like Gaethje's got that power. Topuria hasn't faced no one that has that power. Like obviously Max had the chin and the power, but Max is more of a build-up guy. He's not just going to be the one-punch man. The thing with Gaethje is technically he's kind of ugly, especially now at this age, right? Like against Paddy Pimblett and back in January, that kind of that literally was a bar fight. It was a bar fight, and I can't believe Paddy didn't get put down. So there's no way you're gonna tell me that if Paddy didn't get put down, you mean Topuria is gonna get put down? And when's the last time Gaethje's even put down someone? 4 years ago? And the last time he actually put down someone in general just in general, 2023, Dustin Poirier, a sneaky head kick, incredible head kick, it was insane. Shout out Herb Dean, gave us a little baseball slide meme. That was pretty hilarious, but I don't know how Gaethje has any chance. The same way I gave 0% chance to Michael Chandler, Gaethje has that chance, 0%. Maybe you can convince me on one, but Ilia Topuria is just on a different planet than a lot of these fighters, than Justin Gaethje especially. This could have been Gaethje back in his tip-top prime 4 years ago, whatever, and I think Topuria still starches him. Gaethje probably has a smaller chance increase, but I don't think there's not so much here. Topuria is the sharper fighter. He's going in for blood, and now the fact that they've made it quote-unquote personal, whatever the hell that means, I think he just gets more locked in. Because when you get a motivated Topuria, which he always is, the guy's just on, again, different planet. His aura is locked in. He's searching for greatness. He's going to go to unify his belt or get it back, I guess, whatever. And Gaethje's going to retire after this fight. He's going to get what he wants, the White House fight, in a title fight, main event. And he's going to get put down probably in the first round. When Topuria says, I'm putting you down the first round, I believe him. I believe him. So other than Topuria could tell me Santa Claus exists, and I'll believe him. I'll be like, I have evidence that he doesn't. But if you say it, brother, I believe you. That's how much of a guy, man of his words, and how serious his business of execution is. So Justin Gaethje, hopefully you don't get flatlined as badly as Charles Oliveira, but I think your chin's worse, if not the same. And Topuria is gutting for blood. So that's going to be... Topuria wins it easily, I think. And up next for him, Arman Tsarukyan, or do we gonna get finally that battle between him and Islam? Either way, all these fights, whoever wins loses. I'm sure we're all gonna get pleased by these fights. It's gonna be a hell of a time, and I just simply cannot wait.